Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As I am adjusting my microphone, trying to make it sound right, because for some reason it's not sounding that good. All of a sudden today it just started crapping out on me and I had to make some changes to the settings. And yeah, hopefully it sounds all good for you guys right now live on PWU Unlimited's website. No, we're not on the website. What am I thinking? I'm all kinds of jumbled up today. We're on YouTube, PWU Unlimited YouTube channel. We're here to talk about AEW Dynamite, NXT on the USA Network. All that went down tonight. We've got a good number of you guys already here to join us for that. I love seeing all you guys here in the live chat, just like George J. Cox, Derek Bocek, Sinclair Saturday, Cameron Ingram, Broken King Slender, Philip Eric, Kristen McNutt, and so many more of you. As far as tonight's slate of shows did go, like I stated, we had AEW Dynamite, we had NXT, and I thought both shows were actually very solid. If I had to, like I stated, I thought both shows were very solid. I enjoyed what I saw on both shows. I'm just trying to think, is there one I liked better than the other, or did I maybe like them the same? And to be completely honest, give me 1 second, guys. I got an email here I need to look at. But to be completely honest, I think I liked them both about the same. I didn't like one better than the other. And that's actually not a bad thing. So with that, we are going to kick it off by talking about, well, AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Show kicked off with the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page defending against the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes, and QT Marshall. There were some issues in this match, but overall, pretty good wrestling nonetheless. Give me 1 second, guys, to fix my screen here. Adjust the camera. All right, where we go. And I lost my spot. There we are. So, they didn't have Allie at ringside. And it basically told us, well, Allie's not here ringside. Brandy doesn't want her there. I'm pretty sure she's going to show up by the end of the match, which she did. The commentary was a little all over the place in this match as well. They kept talking about the dynamic of Dustin, Brandy, Allie, QT, and all that. A lot more than, hey, this is a tag title match, and Dustin and QT, they could have some really big, chances coming up here if they win the titles. So I didn't like that they almost made it seem like the Alley stuff with Dustin, Brandy, and QT was more important than this match actually being for the titles, if you know what I mean. So Omega and Dustin started off the match. They did a spot where Dustin took an accidental headbutt in the corner. That laid the foundation for the story of this match. Dustin kept getting taken out, and QT had to fight for himself. So, Omega hit a springboard double sledge on QT. Page hit a sliding lariat on QT and got a near fall off of it. That's a perfect metaphor for this team. Dustin was trying here, delivering the Destroyer and flip diving off the apron, plus a power slam. QT hit a QT special, which Excalibur accurately referenced as ugly. Not that good looking of a match. Allie would then come back once QT was knocked down. She was trying to fire him up. Brandy noticed she was there, so Brandy tried to fire up QT. Like, no, I'm the better manager than you. And Allie was like, not even paying no attention to Brandy, just focused on QT, yelling at QT, let's go, let's go, let's go. QT hit the diamond cutter, and then QT got cut off. Page hit him with a rolling elbow for a 2. Omega hit the V-trigger for a near fall. Excuse me. Finish to this match, then saw Omega and Page what they call the last call, a buckshot lariat V-trigger combo. Omega then pinned QT to retain the titles. So this was led to nothing for the Alley entrance because it was just over. They didn't have like Brandy going up to Allie saying if you didn't come out, he wouldn't have been distracted, but he really wasn't distracted anyways, and this and that. I didn't care for the Allie concept of us. I haven't cared for the Allie thing at all. I know it's been a AEW dark storyline that they brought over here to Dynamite, but nah. We'll see where it leads to. As of right now, it really seemed like it's going to lead nowhere. Kristen with a super chat donation. She said, this is in reference to Impact Wrestling. She said, Don Callis teases a former ECW veteran showing up at Slammiversary. Your thoughts? I could care less what Impact teases, because they're going to tease a lot of things that they're not going to, what's the word I'm looking for, deliver. And Don Callis wants you to think, oh my God, we've got Paul Heyman coming to Impact and Slammiversary. That's what they want you to think. It's bullshit. It's dumb. All of this is probably just leading to EC3 coming back to Impact. Anyways, we're talking about Dynamite, not Impact. But thank you for the super chat donation, Kristen. Really do appreciate it. So next up, we got Anna J. I don't know what I was supposed to be saying. I think it's Anna J video package. She says she's signed to AEW and is still figuring out the entertainment side of pro wrestling. They've been advertising her appearance on the show for the last couple of days, and it all led to her getting her ass beat. So Anna Jay came out and they were playing up how she's young, but she's really talented. She's a great athlete. Many people have been wanting to sign her. And then her opponent comes out, Abaddon. They said we have seen Abaddon once before. She was on AEW Dark wrestling Hikaru Shida, and she spooked the hell out of Shida. So Abaddon comes out here, full-on horror gimmick. Like, Rosemary turned up to 77. Rosemary turned up to 100. And basically, Anna Jay got nothing. She got squashed after she got knocked to her knees and Hurricane Rana face planted into the mat. That was it. We then learned about 5 minutes later on social media, Abaddon is officially on the AEW roster. So after this match, Dark Order entered with Anna Jay still down in the ring. Evil Uno presented an envelope to Colt Cabana. Mr. Brody Lee looked over at Colt and nodded. We learned that, well, those two have to team up together next week. So 5 and 10 will then get in the ring and help Anna Jay out of the ring. It looks like Anna Jay will be the first female to enter into the Dark Order. Now, I think Anna Jay has a lot of potential. She just needs more ring time, of course, because she's still young in her career. There's a lot of people in AEW that can benefit from more ring time. I've said it for a while. But I don't know about putting her in the Dark Order. I guess it's something, but here's my thing on this. Other than Brody Lee having a really good match with Moxley for the title at Double or Nothing, what else has the Dark Order done? Absolute jack shit. Nothing. Dark Order hasn't done anything other than Brody Lee having a good match with Moxley. So adding Anna Jay into Dark Order is just basically going, we got no plans for her, so let's just throw her in this group and say we're doing something for her until we got a better plan. And now that she's locked into this group, she's stuck anyways. So I'll see how it plays out. But if they put a fucking mask on her, I'm done. Because she's got the look, she's got the skills, and you can tell from the first time we saw her about a month and a half ago to now, she has improved. So if you're going to put her in the Dark Order, put a mask on her, and have her be one of them minions, I think it's a bad move. I think it's a very, very bad move. Next up, we got MJF taking on Billy, because they can't call him Billy Gunn. They had to play this off as the big guy versus the little guy, kinda. They said that MJF thinks of himself as the big dog in AEW, but he's got to learn that some people are bigger than him. He's not the biggest cat in the field. Billy hit a big boot early and a thumb to the eye. MJF's just walking out and getting counted out because he didn't care about this match, but Billy followed him up the tunnel and carried him back to the ring. Billy went for a Faymaster, but MJF avoided it, hit a chop block, and took control of the match before and after the break. MJF and Wardlow posted Billy and worked over his legs during the break. Billy made a comeback after that break. MJF jawed with the referee. MJF went for a Faymaster, but Billy blocked it and hit a Faymaster of his own. Wardlow then jumped on the apron and took the ref. Wardlow passed MJF the diamond ring. Wardlow went for Austin and Colton on the floor. Gunn went after Wardlow and sent him into the barricade. Gunn climbed back in and MJF hit him with the ring. MJF immediately went for the cover. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. MJF defeats Billy. After the match at ringside, MJF was walking around the ring, and he was basically stopped by Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy started jack-jawing with him before, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Luchasaurus got involved. Wardlow would try to stop Luchasaurus. Marco Stunt would jump on Wardlow. All 5 guys would brawl. A bunch of other guys would break up the brawl. And there we go. In the back, Alex Marvez interviewed the Les Sex Gods. Nothing really of note came here. Talked about Juice and Orange Cassidy. And he said that Marvez has a fat head. Jericho promised to beat the best friends tonight. Bleed them to a pulp. Jericho said that he and Guevara have more than friends. Are more than friends. They're blood. Blood brothers, and blood is thicker than... Well, actually, he said, blood is thicker than water. Well, actually, in this case, orange juice. I thought that was clever. Tony Schiavone goes to interview Britt Baker, but before he does, he makes a big announcement for Fyter Fest. At Fyter Fest, Penelope Ford will be challenging Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. Britt Baker was mad about this. I don't know if she was mad that Ford got the opportunity or mad that Tony announced this during her interview. But either way, she got mad, told Tony, TNT's going to be upset with you because you just lost your interview and we're on a friendship timeout. She then said, Reba, get me out of here. But Rebel wasn't driving that ATV. No. That Polaris, that was driven by Big Swole. And there almost wasn't even a payoff to this. Big Swole said, where to, doctor? Britt Baker realized she's in trouble. Big Swole drives off, calls Britt Baker a heifer, and they drive out into the darkness outside of Daly's place. And like I said, they almost didn't give a payoff. We saw what happened to Britt Baker, but we didn't see that if, for all we know, Big Swole's not the one that threw her into the dumpster. Because we saw Big Swole drive off as the driver, right? But then that was the last we saw of Big Swole. So that was kind of weird. Cody would then come down to the ring with Arn Anderson. Cody cut a promo. So that last week, he felt lonely. He said, it's lonely when you're on top. He said Jake Hager came down, but no one came to help him when he was attacked. Not the Elite, not the Nightmare family. Now he feels like he's been kicked out of his own family and no longer feels elite. Cody wondered if he was still in both groups. And then was I guess you could say, teased going heel, but I don't think it's really what it was. There was like a semblance of like, maybe I say screw them all or something like that. I don't really know. He then says, now we got to hear from my coach, Arn Anderson. He said, the timing is everything, Arn that is. And timing for this match with Hager at Fyter Fest just isn't right. And I agree. Why do you need to be defending your title now when you've got a fucking title match coming up at the pay-per-view? Just saying. Nonetheless, Arn said that he had an opponent for Cody tonight. Someone who would be, well, a good test for the champ. We then see on the big screen a video package play with former, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure he's a former NWA television champion, Ricky Starks. Stark put himself over as the hottest free agent in all of pro wrestling, said he's still a free agent, and if he wins the title tonight, he can well leave with the TNT title. Starks then came down, and we got a very good match between Cody and Ricky Starks. I thought this was great. I had heard over the last week that Ricky Starks was at the tapings. I couldn't confirm what he was doing there, and now we know this is what it was. So Cody gave Starks a ton, and they had a very good TV match here. They repeatedly cut to Hager watching this match backstage, though, like a bunch. They locked up with their trademark hammer lock up early. Cody missed a charge into the post and sold his ribs. Starks set Cody up on the ropes, but Arn pulled Cody out of the way before Starks could connect. That was, well, a total heel move. Your manager helping you not get hit or get a move done to you. That's a heel move. Starks then hit a big DDT and a top rope superplex. Cody hit a suicide dive. JR couldn't help but seize the opportunity and crap all over the suicide dive. The finishing sequence saw Cody miss a disaster kick that led to a series of cradles for near falls. Cody then hit the crossroads and pinned Ricky Starks. I thought this match was good. The two shook hands afterwards. Friendly competition. I don't know if they have signed Ricky Starks or if he's still working as a free agent, but we'll see where it goes. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to send this message. All right. So next up, we got the Young Bucks taking on the super bad Death Squad with Penelope Ford in their corner. Good action in this match. I felt like this match was very solid, as that was the theme of tonight. On both shows, solid wrestling for the most part. There was one match in NXT that I was like, man, this is okay. But for everything else, I was like, man, got a lot of solid wrestling. Same with and you can say, well, what about that Anna Jay Abaddon match? Well, nothing happened in that match other than like 4 moves, and it all looked okay. So referee Rick Knox took a pair of pliers away from Jimmy Havoc before the match started. Havoc went right after Matt's heavily taped ribs. Nick then tagged in, and the Bucks hit some tandem offense and stereo planchas. Butcher and Blade jawed with the Bucks at ringside from the audience. Butcher and Blade then jumped onto the apron and took the ref. Havoc hit Matt with a wet floor sign, and the squad worked Matt over during the commercial break. Again, way too much interference in AEW. Yes, I like how now, unlike when they first started, they're actually making a conscious effort that the ref's not paying attention when people cheat, but there's still way too much outside interference, cheating, and this and that. FTR would come down to ringside to watch the match. Matt made his own comeback and made the hot tag to Nick. Nick ran absolutely crazy on the hot tag. He hit a springboard attack and a stage dive on Havoc. Nick used the sharpshooter on Sabin. Havoc grabbed a hammer and took the ref. Ford jumped in and hit Nick with the wet floor sign. Again, way too much of this bullshit. Havoc hit an implant DDT, only got a near fall off of it. Sabian tagged in and hit an assisted DDT for a near fall. Havoc and Matt then tagged in, and all bedlam ensued. Matt hit Northern Line suplexes over and over. Matt and Nick hit risky business. Sabian hit a top rope double stomp. The pinfalls were broken up. Sabian was bleeding from the neck for some reason. I have no clue why, but you could see, I think it was from the neck, because there was some blood here and some blood down the top of his chest. I don't know what happened, where that came from, but very odd. Just all of a sudden, I'm watching, he's on the top rope, and he's got blood right here, all right here. So I don't know what happened there. Finishing the match, then saw Matt and Nick hit stereo Kamagoye knee strikes to Sabian for the pin and pick up the victory. So after the match, the Butcher and the Blade jumped in. The Bucks immediately They attacked the Bucks immediately after the bell. FTR jumped in and hit the Butcher and the Blade with the Goodnight Express. The Bucks then hit the Blade with an Indie Taker. FTR hit Havoc with a Spike Pile Driver at the same time. Again, all working in tandem, working together. And before I say my next comment, I know what you're going to say. Well, Tim, that was their WWE gimmick. They didn't care about flips and high flying because that was the WWE gimmick. Yes, but their whole thing has always been, and I know this comes from WWE, that they don't like high flying. They're all about mat-based wrestling, ground and pound, old school, beating the crap out of your opponent. But 2 weeks in a row now, we've seen Cash Wheeler jump off the top rope. 2 weeks in a row. This segment did end with FTR and the Bucks facing off in the ring, and nothing happening. Announcers then threw it to Taz and Brian Cage, and this was really good. Now, we saw why Cage benefits from having Taz as his mouthpiece, because at times, Cage gets a little overzealous and starts talking really fast and like, yeah, be Mark. Not that fast, but he gets a little overzealous and starts talking quick. You just slow it down a little bit. But Taz explained the scene last week where Moxley and Cage went at it in the parking lot. Taz said Moxley is stealing his gimmick that he came up with decades ago. Cage interrupted Taz and said, I don't know what I want to do more at the pay-per-view. Do I want to rip his head off? Do I want to slam him head first into the mat? Or do I want to take the AEW World title? And Taz was like, that's a good question. What's better? And in a great, great tribute to Chris Kanyon, who was a big influence and friend of Brian Cage, Cage said, and I quote, it's not about what's better, but who better. Because remember, Kanyon always said, who better than Kanyon? I loved that. An absolute great callback to one of Cage's biggest influences in him getting into the professional wrestling world, wanting to be a wrestler. He stated in interviews when he was younger, he saw Chris Kanyon, met Chris Kanyon, the two actually became friends, and that inspired him to get into wrestling. Because Cage here locally where I'm from started out doing bodybuilding. I have a friend that I went to high school with that did bodybuilding with Cage, but eventually, as we all know now, Cage transitioned that bodybuilding career into professional wrestling. He's been very successful at it, but I I absolutely loved the Chris Kanyon callback with it's not what's better, who better. I loved it. Moxley then cut a pre-tape promo. He said he had bad demons that only beating people up in the ring can keep at bay. We then learned about a number of matches for next week. Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy, but which Matt Hardy is the question. Mr. Brody Lee and Colt Cabana will be teaming up to take on the team of Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. Wardlow will be taking on a Luchasaurus in a lumberjack match. FTR will be taking on the Natural Nightmares. And Jon Moxley will be in action with Taz on commentary. JR then asked Tony Schiavone, hey, you got an update on your friend Britt Baker after Big Swole abducted her? And Tony's like, oh, yeah, we got something. Let's go to it. So Rebel, who, Britt keeps calling Reba, was running around. And she's like, I got to find Britt. She finally found her in a dumpster. Because she was tracking Britt Baker's phone. I don't think those tracking things get you that accurate. I could be wrong. They can get you like to Daly's place and say who you're looking for is at Daly's place. But I don't think they can get you to that area of Daly's place. I don't think you can pinpoint it that close. I don't know. I'm nitpicking though. So Britt Baker's like, what took you so long, Reba? I've been here for 6 hours in this dumpster. And she's like, actually, Britt, it's only been an hour. She goes, excuse me? Do I pay you to tell me things? No, you're fired. Get out of here. And then she starts leaving. She goes, where are you going? Get me out of the dumpster. She goes, you just fired me. She goes, never mind. Unfired. What took you so long to get here? And Rebel's like, I had to pee. I was in the bathroom. She goes, excuse me? You don't go to the bathroom. You're at my side at all times. I hired you. You stay with me all the time. And so she then goes, Britt goes, where's Tony? And she's like, you put Tony on a friendship timeout. He's not here. She goes, are you kidding me? Timeout over. Get him on the phone. Call him. He needs to be here now. I need help. And so she's cutting a promo into the camera. She's like, Big Swole, you're going to ruin, the day's coming where you're going to regret doing what you did to me, blah, 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 blah. And then she's just like, Reba! And Rebel's like, throws her phone in the air, drumbles a little around. She's like, get me out of here. I think Rebel and Britt Baker work absolutely great together. Some of the stuff they've done is a little cringy and hokey. Tonight's wasn't that bad. I thought it was funny. But these two, Rebel and Britt Baker, I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe they're friends in real life or something, but they just work perfect together. They play off of each other so well. So well. Baker basically said that she promised to sue Big Swole and make her regret what she did if it's the last thing she ever does. Matt Hardy joined commentary for the main event. He said, I'm unkillable, Matt Hardy, when they asked him what version of Matt Hardy are we getting. And the main event was Best Friends putting their Fyter Fest tag title shot on the line against Les Sex Gods, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. Matt didn't say too much in commentary, just a couple things here and there, like, hey, you got to watch out for Sammy Guevara. Best Friends are a great tag team and underrated and stuff like that. Kind of just like they were feeding them lines to say in the headset. I don't know if that's the truth, but it's just how it came off. So Chuck Taylor and Trent opened up this match very aggressive, going after the heels, doing a great job selling as well. Jericho and Guevara cut off Taylor at one point. Guevara used Jericho's old cocky pin attempt, the Her. Jericho hit some stomps. Jericho missed a lionsault, enabling Taylor to tag Trent. Jericho tagged out as well. Trent hit a big suplex on Guevara. Jericho hit Trent with Floyd the baseball bat on the floor as the referee was being distracted. We then went to commercial. Trent sold through the entire break, as we saw on picture-in-picture, including taking his flip into the buckle. Taylor got a tag and hit a Falcon Arrow and a Liger Bomb on Guevara for a pair of near falls. Best Friends then hit their Soul Food half and half combo. Jericho broke up a Rainmaker hug spot, and commentary was like, you guys need to take this more serious. Why are you hugging right now? You need to take things more serious. And I'm like, yeah, couldn't be more wrong there, or more right there. Trent then hit a knee strike to Jericho. Jericho locked Trent in the walls, while Guevara hit a flip dive onto Taylor. Trent forced a rope break. Jericho ran into a lariat and tagged out. At one point, Taylor and Jericho brawled on the floor. Taylor grabbed a chair and Jericho threw Taylor over the barricade. Guevara hit Trent with the baseball bat and hit a shooting star press for a 2. The finish saw Guevara go for the GTH. Trent fought out, and it sent Guevara into the ropes. A camera operator tripped up Sammy Guevara. We didn't know exactly what was going on here at first. Trent then hit his version of the Strong Zero, pinned him, and picked up the victory to keep their title shot at Fyter Fest. So after the match, the cameraman started revealing himself. Well, this isn't no ordinary cameraman. No. It's Orange Cassidy. Cassidy was a fucking just house of fire. I've never seen Orange Cassidy like this before. He took Jericho down twice and hit a series of punches, jumping on top of Jericho. Cassidy sent Jericho rolling out of the ring with a Superman punch. Very well done here. We then learn as the show's cut into black. I think it was Tony Schiavone. I'm getting word in my ear from Tony Khan himself. A match has just been made for Fyter Fest. Chris Jericho will take on Orange Cassidy. And the show goes off the air. As Best Friends jump in really quick to hug Orange Cassidy. And there we go. I thought the show was solid. Really good. If I had to rate it, it'd probably go 7.5. If not, maybe even an 8. Let's go 7.5. Moving forward, we got NXT. And remember, guys, if you guys want to let me know what you thought of tonight's show, You can do so a few different ways. You can either text in to 510-906-1341. Again, send your text message, your thoughts to 510-906-1341. Or if you're watching live, you can put a super chat donation in the chat. All those super chat donations are very, very highly appreciated. We do thank you guys for helping us, well, keep all of this going. All those donations and member subscriptions really do help us out here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and we do appreciate everything you guys do for us. Also, I do want to make an announcement. Probably starting next week, we may be moving the live streams over to Twitch. It is something Nick and I are talking about. Not 100% sure when that's going to happen, but eventually we are talking about possibly moving the live streams all over to Twitch. And then, of course, once the live streams are done on Twitch, then we will take those videos and put them up over here on YouTube. So you guys, if you missed the live stream, can check it out there. So going forward, we got NXT. And NXT also opened up with the tag title match. NXT opened up with Imperium taking on Breezango. Now here's the thing. I liked this a lot. I thought this match was really good, other than the crappy finish. So Breezango did one of their wacky entrances. They came out making fun of Imperium. They were called Emporium. They were coming out as Marsupial and Fabio. So Eichner was in control early with a Breeze, and he worked over his arm. Breeze was able to counter with a Cactus Jack clothesline that sent both to the floor. Barthel joined Eichner in a double team, where they sent Breeze crashing into the plexiglass barrier. Like, lawn darted him head first, basically. Imperium then kept Breeze in their corner while they got the heat on him. Fandango ran wild after a hot tag. A flurry of high spots led into Fandango doing a tope gongueo flip dive before commercial break. Imperium were regaining the advantage as the show returned from break. Eichner did a cool deadlift suplex on Breeze with an assist from Barthel. Breeze was able to counter, so he and Fandango could execute the tandem fashion faux pas for a near fall that was broken up with a collision. Fandango, moments later, delivered the Bobby Eaton flying leg drop off the top for another close two, but it was broken up. Malcolm Bivens would then come down to the ring with Indu Shear. Came down to ringside just before the finish of this match, and this is when things got a little kind of clunky, wonky, bonky. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch would also come down. They start brawling with Indu Shear. Breeze was then knocked off the apron and fell on the other two teams at ringside. Meanwhile, Fandango rolled up Barthel, but Barthel was not the legal man. Eichner then caught Fandango with a DDT and covered him for the pinfall victory. All the teams kind of dispersed. Imperium was all of a sudden at the top of the ramp with the tag titles, and there we go. Velveteen Dream is then interviewed by Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips just basically asked him, what is next for you that you can't challenge Adam Cole anymore? And then all of a sudden we see Dexter Lumis appear behind him, and he takes a picture that he drew of him in Truth with the tag titles, puts it down on the couch next to Dream, and Dream, I said Truth, didn't I? Dream. Put the picture next to Dream on the couch. Dream didn't realize it at first. He finally sits back, looks down, sees it, and goes, this is a misunderstanding. Dexter Lumis helped me, so I helped him, just paying back the favor. I'm a solo act. I don't want to go for the tag titles, he basically said. I don't know where you guys are coming up with all this stuff. But Dexter Lumis, I'm not working with you. He said, I'm a solo act. They then said another solo act is Damian Priest. And we saw Damian Priest get out of his Dodge Challenger. But in the back looming was Cameron Grimes. We learned that next up, Damian Priest will be taking on Killian Dane. I haven't seen Killian Dane in forever. It was good to see him here. So basically, Damian Priest is a babyface now. He took on Finn Balor as a heel, but ever since TakeOver, he's been a babyface. Because it's just what really seems like is going on with him. Early on in this match, he sold his back, and Dane targeted the back a lot. Priest was looking very strong until the injury caught up with him. And then, Dane began to work him over. Priest fought back, but his hope spot was dashed with a series of suplexes. Priest sidestepped a charge into a corner, and then Priest started to make a comeback. He hit Dane with a flurry of punches and kicks. Priest got a 2 after delivering a flying forearm. Dane would then go on to momentarily cut Priest off the crossbody. Priest still fought back and set up for the reckoning before covering Dane and picking up the victory. Solid little match here between two really good up-and-coming guys, I guess you could say. So we learned that during the commercial break, Killian Dane was walking up the ramp getting out of there, and he saw just a disheveled Robert Stone leaning up against the plexiglass, just like, what's my life coming to? And so Killian Dane just smacks the plexiglass, and Robert Stone goes crashing to the floor. And then literally a minute and a half later, maybe 2 minutes later, Aaliyah's coming out for her match, and she notices Robert Stone. She just goes and helps him up. And I think it was Beth who literally says, man, how long has he been just lying there? And my thought goes, no more than 5 minutes, because you just showed us that during the break he was knocked on his butt. Idiot. So we got Aaliyah taking on Xia Li here tonight. I thought this match, it was Aaliyah. What do you expect? That's all I'm going to say. Could have done without the crap from Robert Stone because, well, it was a mess. He threw up in the ring on Xia Li. She was, of course, distracted and disgusted. Aaliyah rolled her up and pinned her. They actually messed up the pin first, tried it again, got it. Again, the worst thing of the whole night on both shows. A drunken and disheveled Robert Stone fell off the apron after the match. Aaliyah tried to cheer him up and helped him to the back. She was like, hey, I won. Be happy for me. Dumb. We got a vignette showing off Timothy Thatcher teaching some kids at a seminar. Well, not kids, but some trainees at a seminar. Teaching them how to do Fujiwara arm bars and so forth. This made Thatcher look like a wrestling version of the heel coach from the original Karate Kid. He came off very heelish here. He basically said, do what you got to do to hurt your opponent. Because he goes, here's a Fujiwara armbar. Usually you think, oh, you can only pull the arm this far back. But you can actually pull it this far back. Then the guy starts screaming. He goes, oh, you want to scream? Let's pull it even farther back. Squeal for me. He did come off like the Cobra Kai gym leader. Or dojo leader. I take it back. Not gym leader, dojo leader. Next up, we got Undisputed Era. Pre-tape segment here with Roderick Strong going to therapy. And hey, Kyle O'Reilly's back. So, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole picked up Strong in a limo. Strong was unshaven and not in the mood for his stablemate's fist bump. Cole and Fish accompanied Strong to what was supposed to be a doctor's office. Cole had Strong lay on a couch, and he told him to close his eyes. The doctor then lowered the book he was reading and revealed, well, it was Kyle O'Reilly. He disguised his voice and used a fake name pretending to be a doctor. He asked Strong, what's wrong? Strong started talking about his fear related to Dexter Lumis. Cole started doing an ink blot test with him, and Strong began to freak out. He said, Lumis, in the trunk of the car. He said one looked like Lumis, one looked like the trunk of the car, and so forth. O'Reilly, still playing the doctor, told Strong he had to confront his fear of the trunk. Strong eventually agreed to this. Then they tried putting him in the trunk of the limo. Strong then bolted and ran away at top speed. Cole and Fish then took off after him. Yeah, whatever. Good to see Kyle O'Reilly back, though. NXT champion Adam Cole was then walking around backstage by himself when he was confronted by the North American champion, Keith Lee. Keith Lee warned him that he's coming for him in the title. He said he would be the person to take that belt from Adam Cole. Adam Cole then had the hourglass from Killian Dane. Keith Lee basically said, I don't care about this, and he threw it down and smashed it. Cole stormed off, and Lee smirked. So Adam Cole came out to the ring, cut a promo saying that he's been NXT champion for 388 days. Cole brought up Karrion Kross. First he called him Killian Cross, but then said, you know that Killian Cross, you know that Karrion Kross. I was like, oh, messed up there, buddy. Cole basically said that Cross had to work his way up the ladder. Can't just come at him right away. Cross last week confronted Cole in a cliffhanger and closed the show, he said. Cole went on to address Keith Lee and his challenge. Cole said he has his eyes on the North American title. Cole said that he's thinking about possibly winning and having both belts, and said, if I have both of those belts, then I can be champ, baby. Lee would then come down to the ring to confront the champ. Before Lee could even speak, though, Johnny Gargano would interrupt. Gargano warned Lee that he had his sights on the North American Championship. Gargano asked how his wife Candice was doing. He said, good. And then Keith Lee says something about how when he picked her up, she said, Mr. Lee, this is the best action I've had in a long time. And Johnny Gargano was like, don't talk about my wife like that. Quit being weird. Johnny Gargano then said that he's going to win the North American title. Then he wanted to come after Adam Cole. He wanted to become the NXT champion, North American champion, and have it all. He wanted to have it all. He also said that Candice would eventually win the women's title, and they would be the first married couple to both be champions in AEW. Lee was insulting Gargano when Finn Balor would then come out to join the party. He jumped in the ring, called them all Marks, and Gargano goes, whoa, I just want to clarify, my name's Johnny, not Mark. That was pretty funny. And Gargano, or Balor said, you know, Johnny, the difference between you and I is I don't just wait for my opportunity. I cut to the front of the line and take it. And he went straight over to Keith Lee and said, you know, I've won a lot of titles all around the world, but one I haven't won is the North American title here in NXT. I won it. He then turns his attention to Adam Cole and says, you know, I want that title back too. Once I win that title from him, I'm coming after you, and I'm going to get back my title from this transitional champion. And Cole says, excuse me, transitional champion? I'm the one that beats your record as longest reigning champion, buddy. As these guys were arguing, William Regal will then appear on screen. Regal on the Titantron stated he's got an idea. A couple ideas, actually. Next week, we're getting a triple threat match. Keith Lee will defend the North American Championship against both Johnny Gargano and Finn Balor. With that, the winner of that match, whoever comes out North American Champion, will then move on to take on Adam Cole on July 8th. And not in any kind of match, but a double title match. Both the NXT North American and NXT Championships will be on the line, and the winner will walk out of NXT on July 8th, the double champion. We're getting our first double champion in NXT, our first NXT champ. So with that, after the segment, we see Keith Lee backstage, and he's confronted by Candice LeRae. He makes fun of Candice LeRae being short, or at least it seemed like it, and then he starts pointing. And she turns around, and boom, there's Mia Yim, who beats the crap out of her. And Morrow has to say, oh, another great moment or something like that from the Yimitless team. I go, are you fucking kidding me, Morrow? You really called them Yimitless. So stupid. Next up in a okay match, these two women worked hard. It was Dakota Kai versus Kaden Carter. The hourglass. I skipped the whole thing. I skipped this whole match because this match there was nothing to it. Kai submitted Carter in a short match after some interference from I can almost call her Reina Gonzalez, her old name, Raquel Gonzalez. And I think it was last week or the week before, they tried comparing Gonzalez to Chyna. And then this week, they compared her to Diesel. They called her Big Mama Cool. So all of a sudden in the back, we get some video footage that's black and white and a little dirty. And you see Scarlett walking up. from afar. Camera's on the ground. You see the broken hourglass. Karrion, I pulled Nam Cole there. Karrion Kross would then walk up and step on a piece of the broken glass. Scarlett then grabs some of the sand, let it fall through her fingers, and the segment ends. Next up, we got Bronson Reed taking on Leon Ruff. Match was a very quick squash match. Leon Ruff got dominated. Bronson Reed won with a splash off the top. But after the match, that's the interesting thing. So a couple of weeks back, before TakeOver, Karrion Kross attacked Bronson Reed, showing off his power. So Bronson Reed wants some revenge. Bronson Reed said, I'm going to do something that no one has had the guts to do. I'm going to challenge and call out Karrion Kross. I want you next week. Then he picked Ruff up on his shoulders and carried him to the back. Then see Damian Priest, who's all in a tizzy because someone slashed his tires. Cameron Grimes would then show up in his car and say, ooh, Damian, looks like maybe I should call you an Uber. And he drives off really fast as Damian Priest is pissed off. So next up, the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Santos Escobar, would come out. Escobar was flanked with Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Escobar talked about the legacy of El Hijo del Fantasma, saying that for over 20 years, he was known as one of the, if not the best luchador in Mexico. But a luchador is seen as just a good wrestler wearing a mask. He knew that when he got the opportunity to come to NXT, things needed to change, and he needed to close the chapter on Fantasma. Escobar said his father, Fantasma, also told that he was going to be a leader and not a luchador. He told them that. He said, you need to be a leader and not a luchador when you go to NXT. Escobar vowed to teach Mendoza and Wilde how to be leaders. Escobar said that he was, quote, leader of leaders. And then Drake Maverick would interrupt. He stormed down to the ring, and Maverick got some licks in before the numbers got too much. Maverick was able to do a tope, but then he got beaten down at ringside. Escobar then gave Maverick the Phantom Driver on the stage, off the stage through a table. They did a stretcher job here with Maverick during the commercial. Jake Atlas was there to check on him, and he just said, hey, they're going to put you in this ambulance, Drake. They're going to take care of you. Guys, take really good care of him. We then learned that next week, it is official, Cameron Grimes will be taking on Damian Priest. Bronson Reed will be taking on Karrion Kross. And we'll be getting that triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. Then we got a match that actually exceeded my expectations. I thought this was really good, fun, great. It's a women's tag title match. I knew this match would be pretty good, but I didn't know it was going to be as good as it was. Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. So early in this match, Blackheart missed a wrecking ball dropkick, and Banks capitalized with a running meteora off the apron to the floor. Blackheart soon made a comeback, and she tagged in Nox for some stereo cannonball splashes. Nox with a choke slam to Banks onto Bayley. Blackheart then followed this up with a springboard dive to the outside. More tandem offense here from Blackheart and Nox, but their near fall was broken up with a save by Banks. Everybody was down selling as they went to the final moments of the match. Banks countered a Doomsday device only for Banks to take a missile dropkick. Banks kicked out of a pinning attempt and transitioned it into the Banks statement. Blackheart escaped the hold and applied a cattle mutilation submission hold. Bayley got in the ring with a chair to break up the hold, but Nox cut her off and took the chair. Referee caught Nox holding the chair and admonished her for it. While the ref has the attention of Nox, behind his back was Bayley breaking up the submission hold. So Bayley uses the chair. The ref thinks Tegan Nox used the chair, but nobody gets disqualified. Same bullshit I was talking about the AEW. Banks then applied the Banks statement on Blackheart, and Blackheart tapped out. So Banks and Bayley retain the titles, and now we'll move on to next week's Monday Night Raw to defend those titles against the Iconics. So Banks and Bayley are celebrating in the ring when NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai would run down for fucking no reason at all. She suplexed them both, hit them both with running knee strikes in the corner, And then Shirai cleared the ring and stood tall saying, "This is my NXT now." Why the fuck did she need to come out here and attack the heels? What did they ever do to her? They did nothing to her. Never once said her name about anything. So this made absolutely no sense to me. They stalled for time for about 3 minutes because a lot of this ended early. They played a bunch of replays. They kept showing Bayley and Banks mad on the apron. Io with the belt in the ring. And then finally the show ends and it goes into Gone in 60 Seconds. And I go, oh fuck, I just watched this movie yesterday. But that was NXT. That was AEW. If I had to rate NXT, probably go 7.5 as well. Maybe 7 for that dumbass Robert Stone throw-up shit. So I guess I'd maybe go 7. So I guess in that regard, I did like AEW a little bit better. But overall, I think I like the shows almost the same. But with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about both of these shows. Do have some text messages I do want to read. Remember, if you guys want to give me your thoughts on tonight's AEW, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. It's going to do this again where it's not going to let me see the text messages. Here we go. It's going. I had them open, then it closed itself, and we got them back here. We got a couple text messages. This person says, I'm watching Survivor Series 96 right now, and honestly, it's really good. Oh, wait, this was from yesterday. Well, I'll read it anyways. It's really good so far, and also I haven't gotten my hacked PS4 account back yet. Unfortunate. But yeah, Survivor Series 96 was a really good pay-per-view. It was the first ever pay-per-view for The Rock. Rock made his debut there. This person says, Tim, keep up the good work. And the only question for you is, do you see Brian Cage becoming AEW champ at Fyter Fest over Moxley? Hell no. We reported last week, actually, exclusively here on PWU Unlimited, that the plan is for Moxley to defend the title against MJF at All Out. So, no, he's not losing that title. Person says, if Imperium winning the title wasn't the real plan, then what was, and why not have Breezango win the titles? Well, it wasn't the real plan to have him win it. I don't know if not to have him win it eventually, but the plan was not for them to win it when they did. Everything got thrown out of whack when Vince said, we're calling up Matt Riddle. Then they had to quickly get the titles off of him, change a bunch of things around, and it was reported that actually Matt Riddle's call-up changed plans for 8 different people. This person says, hey, Tim, how are you with this COVID-19 going on? Do you think WWE going to reschedule some of these WWE pay-per-view locations? So as of right now, everything's still set for the PC or Full Sail. As far as locations for other pay-per-views, they're trying to maybe find somewhere for SummerSlam, but other than that, everything else is taking place at the PC or Full Sail. Person says, do you think Britt Baker will ever be taken seriously? Yeah, oh, of course. I think she's been taken seriously. But now that she can't wrestle, they're going to do a little goofy stuff with her. Like they were doing a little goofy stuff with her before. But I think she's been taken seriously a lot, actually. I don't know where you would think that. This person said, I think AEW show this week was solid. Good matches all around. And I'm thinking about getting into AEW. So good start for me to AEW. Yeah, good show to start with if this is one of your first ones to ever see. And this person says, do you think they're going to break up the Natural Nightmares, turning QT and Allie heel? Nah, I really don't. They would kill QT Marshall if they turned him heel. Then he would just be a nothing. At least him being a babyface with Dustin gives him something. But if they turned him heel and he was with Allie, he would just be relegated to dark and no one would ever see him because not many people watch dark. But with that, guys, I want to thank you for watching us here, right here on YouTube, whether you watch live or watch later, right here on YouTube. I want to thank you guys for all the support, and you can follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram, just search Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. You can also follow me on Twitter at TimmyBuddy, and follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. So with that, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you next time.